Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vior's live investment summit today, hosted by Six. I'm joined today by Mark Fedosowicz, Vior's CEO and president, and Laurent Eustache, the company's executive vice president. The team is going to walk us through their company presentation, and after, we'll move on to a live Q&A session, where we'll be accepting and answering some questions. You can submit your questions using the Q&A panel found on the right-hand side of your screen at any time, and as always, this summit is being recorded and will be available to watch afterwards on Six.com. So without further ado, Mark, Laurent, I'll hand things over to you, and you can kick things off.
Thank you, Cam, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an introduction of Vior, a hybrid junior explorer in North America. Just be advised, and I wish to caution you, there will be some forward-looking statements in our presentation. I'd ask you to take a moment just to read this particular slide. So just a few words about Vior's value proposition. We've positioned the company in such a way that we have exposure to multiple potential discoveries, predominantly gold-centric. We believe good discoveries are the key driver to value creation in our industry and will be for our company. Our focus is precious metals in North America, in Quebec and Nevada. The bulk of our wholly owned exploration projects are situated in Quebec. Two of the best jurisdictions in the world, arguably, Nevada #1 and Quebec #6. Our hybrid strategy is very unique. We're explorers, and we have the opportunity to invest in good private companies should a good opportunity arise. We see this particular strategy as a way to diversify our risk and provide us to additional exploration opportunities. We've got a very committed management, strong leadership, excellent track record. Management is entrenched with our shareholders. Insiders control a little bit over 16% undiluted of the company. Excellent project partners, including Osisko Mining, which recently made a strategic investment in our company this past March, when they invested 9.9% partially diluted at a price of 20 cents a unit. Iluka Resources, we don't talk too much about Iluka, but they are one of the largest fully integrated titanium producers in the world. We have been in partnership with them for approximately 5 years now on two rutile, which is titanium projects in Quebec. That is not our focus, but they continue to forge ahead on these two projects in concert with our exploration team. SOChem, a big Quebec-based exploration company, and Ridgeline Minerals, which we'll talk about a little later in our presentation. We have a strategic investment, Nevada-based junior explorer. A little bit about our value creation mantra, execution. We've been around since 1984. You can see our list of partners and close associates, some very well-known entities. Organic growth, predominantly exploration in Quebec. We have three very important flagship projects, Beltaire being #1, Skyfall #2, and Ligneris #3. Our hybrid growth model basically allows us for internal hybrid growth. We have an investment in a junior Nevada-based company that we treat as a mid to long-term investment. We invested a couple of years ago in the very early seed stage rounds, about $625,000. It's worth a little over $2 million as of today. A little bit about our corporate expertise. I'll start with our corporate structure just to give you a little bit of lay of the land by the numbers. Our working capital position, this was as of March 31. Our year end is June 30th. We're about to publish our year end financials in the next 2 weeks. But as of March 31, which is public, $3.28 million. I can tell you that as of mid-September, that number was about $2.2 million hard dollars. Investments in public companies, approximately $2.37 million. Shares outstanding, a little under 73 million. Major shareholders include Osisko Mining, that recently purchased a strategic investment in Vior, 6.7% undiluted and about 9.99% partially diluted. Insiders own a little bit over 16% of the company. All shares were purchased either in the market or through private placements. There are no cheap shares in the company. Quebec institutions, about 16%. The lion's share of that would be FTQ, which is the labor union fund, pension fund in Quebec. CDEX, a small Montreal-based junior exploration fund, and a little bit of Caisse de dépôt and Société de la Baie James. Close strategic holders, about 30%. That would comprise, largely about 15 high net worth individuals and mining executives in my circle that control about 30%. I would say 7 or 8 of those would comprise about 20%. They're good mid to long-term shareholders that are going to give us time to execute on our business strategy. Warrants outstanding about 14.85 million, options a little under 5 million, and our market cap as of the last couple of days is about $16 million. Just briefly about the management team, which is really important in our board of directors. Our chairman of the board, Claude Saint-Jacques, he's the original founder of Vior. He was also the founder of several other successful mining exploration companies in Quebec, namely Mazarin and Virginia Gold Mines. Former general director of the Prospector Association of Quebec. Excellent business network and business sense. Myself, my background is in the investment business. Up until 2015, I was with CIBC Wood Gundy, over 30 years experience in the investment business and the junior mining sector. I have an extensive business network in the mining and resource space. The next 2 directors are 2 of the next generation of mining entrepreneurs in Quebec. Eric Desaulniers, he's the founder and CEO of the very successful Nouveau Monde Graphite, professional geologist in geophysics. You can go look up Nouveau Monde and their success when you have the time. Charles-Olivier Tart, he's the president of our audit committee. He's CFO of Nouveau Monde Graphite, chartered accountant by training, excellent business sense. And lastly, along with me today is Laurent Eustache, another one of our directors. Laurent came on board last September. He was a former portfolio manager and analyst at SIDEX, Quebec-based junior exploration fund that runs well in excess of $100 million, all devoted to the junior exploration space. He has an excellent lay of the land in Quebec, knows all the players, all the projects. In addition to that, he's an economic geologist, having worked for Agnico Eagle Gold Mines and Horizon Gold Mines. Just quickly, management includes myself, Laurent, Ingrid Martin, our CFO for hire. A few words on our technical team. Christian Blanchette is our operations manager, master's geology, has been with the firm for over 8 years. Excellent field geologist and operations manager. Mathieu Gay, over 20 years experience, came on board this past April, was recently working with Dundee Precious Metals, and saw a great opportunity, loved our new flagship project at Beltaire, and was willing to come on board for a nice cut in salary. Marc Leder, former VP Exploration, he is our technical advisor. Ken Williamson, who we've recently brought on board in the past month, one of the top structural geologists in Quebec, really loved what we were doing. We were able to bring him on board to help us with drill targeting and converting all of our Beltaire project data into a 3D model. Show me the money. We have over $7 million going into the ground in exploration and drilling. This would be the 12-month period from March to March 2021 to 22. It's spread over 10 different mining projects. However, the lion's share is going into our flagship Beltaire project, and $5 million of that money would be Ridgeline money going into their 4 projects in Nevada. That number is likely to be increased in the very near term, especially once we see results from our inaugural drill program at our Beltaire project in Quebec. So, briefly on our exploration strategy, I'm going to pass the mic over to Laurent, who'll go over our exploration strategy in Quebec on our three main projects.
Yes, thanks, Mark. And it's a real pleasure to share with you today on what we've been able to achieve these last 12 months at Vior. So in order before to present more in detail our flagship project, I'd like just to share a little bit on the strategy we've implemented in terms of criteria to select and in order to execute acquisition and invest in project at Vior. So we've decided to implement four main criteria, which is first mining-friendly jurisdiction, and North America for us is the best place to explore. And at the moment, we expose our shareholders in Nevada with our investment in Ridgeline, and in Quebec with our flagship gold project. The second criteria is to be situated in close proximity to an existing mine or former mine or advanced project, which is for us critical to lower the time of the learning curve to better understand the gold potential and the geological potential of the area that we start to explore. The third criteria is to be in good infrastructures and easy accessibility, which will help us to access easily the project and as well be able to work 12 months a year on the project. And the first criteria is for us to see a potential to move quickly the project from an early to advanced exploration stage, which is obviously the best way for us to reward our investors and shareholders to create value. So, so these criteria basically allow us to reduce the overall risk of exploration, lowering the cost of exploration, and reducing the stakes of economical potential. So no need to find 3 million ounces resource to get an economical project. So at the end, it increases the odds of making new discoveries and also increases the overall return on capital for our shareholders. So in regard of these criteria, we've executed these last 12 months the acquisition of two high potential district scale gold projects, namely Beltaire, with 531 claims and covering about 300 square kilometers, which is a huge land package. And just to give you an idea of the size, you'll see on the right of that the footprint of the property, the footprint of the low grade of the Canadian Malartic mine, which is one of the largest mine in production at the moment in Canada. And you also have the Skyfall project with 484 claims covering about 260 square kilometers, which is also a large position. So what about our exciting Beltaire Gold Project? Beltaire is located 95 kilometers south of Rouyn-Noranda, right in the heart of the mining industry. So prime location for us. It's about 37 kilometers of favorable geology and includes the option to acquire the former high-grade Belleterre Gold Mine, which produced over 750,000 ounces of gold at about 10.7 grams per ton, which is one of the highest grade that we've been able to produce in Quebec. So we basically, Vior, are the first to attempt such a large consolidation of that scale in the area, and it will allow us the benefit of using for the first time a systematic exploration and looking for large-scale gold system, which is, in our view, the most effective exploration strategy in the Abitibi. So we are basically executing on a similar approach to what Osisko did at Canadian Malartic. Others, good example could be Detour Gold Project, and more recently, Wallridge at Fenelon Project. So in that regard, the strategic investment that Osisko completed in Vior last March, so early in our execution couldn't be a better validation of what we've been doing. So since the last 9 months, we've been able to execute at Beltaire the consolidation of the project with more than 10 agreements. We've also been able to complete a high-resolution MAG survey, which will help us to better understand the structures and geological continuities, which are the plumbing of the gold mineralization in the area. And lastly, we also just completed 2 full months of prospection this summer, and we're waiting for over 1,300 samples in process at the lab. So basically, the project is composed of 2 components: the brownfield area in the center of the property, which includes the former high-grade Belleterre Gold Mine, and numerous high-potential gold showings. So the high-resolution MAG survey that we've recently completed will help us greatly to better understand structural continuities of the known mineralizations. Also, to the best of our knowledge, the deepest drill holes in the area are only 250 to 300 meters depth, which is just surface in today's standards. So we see great potential to be the first to test continuities along strike and at depths in such a high potential gold system. The second component of the project is the 2 greenfield area up north and down south, located in the continuity of favorable geology, main structures, and geochemical anomalies. So our game plan has been to complete that high-resolution MAG survey, completing as well prospection this summer. And we're still compiling old data and doing a 3D model of the old mine and advanced gold showing with our consultant, Ken Williamson, which is one of the best structural geologists at the moment in Quebec. So that work will be followed by a 4,000-meter drilling program, which will start in November. So I'm pleased to share with you our first results of our ongoing exploration work. So here you see the raw data of our high-resolution MAG survey we've completed. And we're still in the process to integrate and interpret the structural geology of the property. So I will show you in the next 2 slides 2 detailed maps of what we can extrapolate and interpret in terms of structural potential out of that high-resolution MAG survey, and showing also the location of our last high-grade result that we're pretty excited to share with you. So here's the first detailed map, and you can see out of that high-resolution MAG survey, we can easily interpret continuities of geology and continuities of structural deformation, which with the result we've just got from the field with the high-grade gold showing will help us to follow the continuities of these high-potential mineralization. So as you can see as well, we've been able to recognize various types of mineralization. So high-grade quartz veins with up to 274.9 grams per ton, as well as intrusive rocks, namely QFP, which hosts some pretty high grade as well, with up to 50 gram per ton of gold. And these lithology could become a game changer if we will be able to see some good continuities, especially for the intrusives. These the second detailed map of what we've been doing and released 2 weeks ago on various past known gold showing. We've been able to validate their precise location and potential of high grade. So we've been able to validate up to 121 gram per ton, 61.2 gram per ton, and so on. So we're pretty excited with these results, and it will be really helpful for us to make sure that we're going in the right direction for our drilling campaign. Lastly, on the Beltaire project, we're also in the process, like I said, to complete a 3D modeling of the old past producer and some advanced gold showing, which will play a corner role in our coming drilling campaign. So basically, to wrap up quickly on Beltaire, in our view, this project is kind of a unique opportunity with a real prospective ground where economical production has been already demonstrated in the past, and where aggressive and systematic exploration, which we are executing at the moment, could move the project quickly to its next development stage. So the second project I'd like to share with you is the Skyfall Project, so district-scale gold project as well, located in the Urban-Barry greenstone belt, where Osisko Mining and Ventura successfully created value these last 3 to 5 years for their shareholders. It's an early-stage greenfield gold project in the geological continuity of Ventura and Osisko. So surprisingly, no exploration has been done in the past in that particular area of the belt. And while we were still in the process of consolidating the project, we decided to execute a first regional tier survey to test the gold fertility of that particular area. And the result just exceeded our expectation with a high number of gold grains, including pristine shapes, indicating proximity of gold in the rock. So basically what we know in that area is the high-grade component of the deposits to the west with Osisko and Ventura, and the high number of gold grain in the till to the east on Vior ground. So we've just completed a full month of prospection with more than 700 samples in process at the lab. We will, as we receive the result, integrate it in our database, and we will also start to execute some geophysics survey in some specific area of the project this winter. Lastly, I'd like to touch upon quickly on Ligneris, another well-looking and prospective gold project, district scale in size, located in the La Flamme volcanic corridor in the continuity of the Nord-Metal mine and next to Amex Exploration, who's successfully exploring high-grade gold mineralization. So on that particular project, we're looking for gold-rich VMS deposits, which are one of the best type of exploration target in the Abitibi. And I would say the best example of that is the Agnico Eagle La Ronde deposit, one of the largest mine in Quebec, which is continuous on more than 3 kilometers depth. So we really like that project and really believe of the potential of the project. And as you can see, we've got some decent economic drilling intersection correlated with some highly anomalous gold count in the till. But the area is covered also with a thick overburden layer, which requires a costly, aggressive drilling strategy that doesn't really fit for the moment in short-term Vior operation capacity. So for that reason, we likely continue to entertain various initial discussion with potential partners. So on that final note, I will leave the mic to Mark.
Thank you, Laurent. So I'll just pass on to, just briefly, I'd like to spend a few minutes on our hybrid strategy. Just why we've selected a hybrid strategy is I've been investing in this space for well over 35 years. I've seen a lot of companies come and go. I've committed a lot of my own personal money. Management, as you could see earlier on, is very entrenched from a shareholder point of view. They've invested a lot of their own personal money in the company. We just felt that this type of model would better suit us in terms of runway, give us exposure to more potential projects and a higher rate of potentially finding an economic deposit. So we're both explorer and potential investor in the right situation. And what it does is it gives us diversification and reduces our overall corporate risk. So In keeping with this hybrid strategy, Vior invested a couple years ago in the very early seed stages of a private company's existence. This company is Ridgeline Minerals. At the moment, we hold a 6.5% position in the company. We treat this as a mid to long-term investment. It's not part of our treasury that we use for our own exploration. We're going to give them time to execute on their strategy. We love the management. We love the projects. They have 100% exposure to 4 projects in the Carlin and Battle Mountain Eureka trends in Nevada, arguably 2 of the best trends in the world. They have allocated $5 million in exploration their fiscal year this year. They have a huge playground, over 150 square kilometers of land package. Just quickly here on their projects, Carlin East and Bell Creek, situated right beside the famous Gold Strike and Leeville mines owned by Nevada Gold in Nevada. They are one of the only land holders in the area. They are currently on a 3-hole drill program. My understanding is they are very close to target area on their 2nd hole here, and we would expect results sometime in Q4. Their next significant project, the Swift Project, we had some very positive news last week from them. They recently executed a $20 million exploration earn-in agreement with Nevada Gold Mines, which is the consortium owned by Barrick Gold and Newmont in Nevada. Very exciting deal. I really think the market's initial muted interest will be revisited, and we will get a revaluation on their stock as a result of this significant deal. Lastly, their Salina project, it's a near-surface silver oxide deposit with potential at depth for a carbon replacement deposit. They will be devoting a lot more time and money on this particular project later this year and early next year. So just to summarize here, Vior at a glance. So exploration, we're looking at value creation through potential discoveries. Our focus is precious metals. Our strategy proven in favorable mining jurisdictions, arguably 2 of the best in the world. We've positioned the company in such a way we'd like to structure it to avoid a lot of dilution for the wrong reasons. Ideally, we want to keep raising money at ever better valuations, build value along the way, good or bad markets. Testament to that, we've been in a difficult junior market the last 6 months. If you look at our stock price, it's maintained over those past 6 months and actually gone up a little bit. We are working hard behind the scenes at marketing, telling our story, bringing in new investors along the way every week. And I think you'll see a lot of improvement in this regard over the next couple of months. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a revaluation. And lastly, innovation. We have exposure to multiple potential discoveries. So finally, to summarize the investment opportunity for you, we've got a solid experienced management team, low-cost corporate structure, very significant inside ownership. We're aligned with shareholders and potential new shareholders. Very innovative business model that provides investors to 10 promising precious metal projects, all in very safe jurisdictions. A third point, and probably one of the most important points, is Osisko Mining is given a very favorable endorsement to our company via a strategic investment that they initiated in March. It's a testament to our project's potential and to our corporate strategy and execution that we've been able to achieve over this past 12 months. For some of the viewers who may have known the old Vior, this is not the same company. We are a totally new company as of the last year. Our flagship project, Beltaire and Skyfall, are a very significant component of the new company. And you will see a lot of news flow going forward. Exploration work and drilling, minimum $7 million. That number is set to increase significantly should we have a good success on our inaugural drill campaign at Beltaire. We have access to capital. We are in the midst right now of marketing a Quebec flow-through raise. It's a small raise, $1.4 million at 28 cents a share. We have not announced it. We began marketing it last Thursday. We are largely complete on it. I'll finalize our order book sometime tomorrow, and we'll look to close either late next week or early the following week. We have purposely positioned people who we know are good investors in this placement. There are no funds involved at the moment, and nor will there be. All good high net worth individuals who are going to give us a chance to execute on our model. Continuous news flow throughout this year and into next year. Beltaire project could move very rapidly to the next stage depending on results from our November drill campaign and potentially our winter drill campaign, which could be a follow-up all throughout the winter. Our Skyfall project, it is a little bit more greenfield. It may take a couple of years to evolve. We believe that every exploration campaign that we're going to be conducting here should add value. If we do add value and somebody comes to us looking to option or JV it with a great proposition, we will certainly entertain it. But for now, we think we can add the value for our existing shareholders. One last comment on Beltaire. We've assembled a significant land package, truly a mining district. We've been told by some independent people that it's statistically improbable, this is a forward-looking statement, that there isn't at least another Belleterre Gold Mine situated in our mining camp. Typically mining camps of this stature hold several deposits. We hope that we're able to find another Beltaire or maybe more than another Beltaire. It'll take capital. It'll take some time. But, at this particular point in time, we're very optimistic on our chances. So, on that final note, I'd open it up to questions to everyone.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks, Laurent, for the great presentation. Just before we move on to the live Q&A, though, I'd like to take a moment and remind the audience members that if you have a question for the team, you can use the Q&A tab found on the right-hand side of your screen to ask. We have had some questions come in advance of the summit, though, today, so I'd like to begin with those. Mark, Laurent, your hybrid strategy seems unique. How is it different, and how is it advantageous for investors?
Well, I think, Cam, I touched upon that briefly in our hybrid portion of the presentation. What it does, it reduces our overall corporate risk, gives us a little bit more exposure to a potential, economic gold discovery. I mean, that is it in and of itself. And, we think we have multiple kicks at the cat here. I think it's a great runway for our shareholders going forward.
Great. Okay. Can you tell us more about the relationship with Osisko? What do they bring to the table?
The Osisko investment came in. We deliberated for a little while on it at the very early stage we were at. But in the end, we decided, their investment coming in is a true endorsement of what we've been able to assemble in terms of our project's potential this past year. They saw 3 excellent Quebec-based projects, all with significant upside, all with significant potential for discovery. In addition, it validated our management's corporate execution and strategy. And they also bring an excellent technical team to the table. We've already formed a technical committee on 2 of our projects with them, which should help for us to advance quicker and hopefully use our money a little more wisely at the same time.
Okay, great. Thanks. Fair enough. At Beltaire, you recently announced very high grades of gold at surface. What's the plan to systematically explore the large land package that you have there?
I'm going to let Laurent maybe tackle this. He's a little more privy. I think you need to put your mic on there, Laurent. Okay,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
No problem. Yes, for sure. You're right. The question is good. I mean, we've been able to demonstrate the high grade potential and recognize that and put the finger on these high potential gold showings. So we're pretty excited with these initial results, and this is just the first. This is just the beginning. We also have lots of as samples waiting at the lab to be processed. So as we will receive all these results, we will integrate it in our database, including all the work that we're doing with our structural geologist and 3D model, which will be fundamental for us to complete and start our drilling program in the coming months.
Okay, great. In your presentation, you talked about a summer exploration program at Skyfall. What have you found there, and when can we expect the drills to start turning there?
So, Laurent, you want to? Yeah, I'll let you tackle that on the exploration side.
Okay. So Skyfall is also one of the exciting projects that we have. We've been really surprised with these high count of gold in the till, gold grain count in the till at the last survey that we did a couple of months ago. And so we've completed the first pass of exploration this summer. We're still waiting for the result to come from the lab. But I mean, it's looking really great. We're really happy with what's going on in the area.
Great, wonderful. What opportunity did you see at Beltaire that others didn't?
Yeah, I'll take that question. We spent a number of months looking at Beltaire. It's very rare that you have a high-grade past-producing mine of Beltaire stature where there really hasn't been a consolidation of the whole area and, a systematic, exploration campaign using modern techniques and the knowledge we've garnered these past 50 years in exploration. So we saw that as an opportunity to try to consolidate it. It wasn't an easy feat. We concluded no less than 10 different deals, including the option to purchase the old Beltaire mine. It was a fragmented ownership structure. A lot of little companies had come and gone over various bull markets the past 40, 50 years, but nobody had taken it upon themselves to do what we've just done. I think we were first movers. Osisko Mining, I believe, was looking at doing the exact same thing we did. However, we were probably a couple months ahead of them. We had already secured the most important land packages via some binding LOIs.
And I will add as well that we saw a great potential. This is not common to see these high-grade mineralization, and there's a reason why these mineralization are located there. So we think that there is an engine that could be found around. That's the reason we decided to consolidate so large land package around. And I mean, when you look at the data and the previous work, I mean, there's not much done at depth and along strike, the known gold mineralization that has been already recognized in the area.
Okay, great, thank you. Eric in the audience says this: thank you for the great update presentation. The Beltaire area was quite fragmented in terms of ownership. Could you give us a sense of how the local population could be open to mining? Also, the QFPs, the quartz, feldspar, and porphyry units are found to be gold endowed and of substantive quality, or extensions rather, than previously recognized. Could an open pit scenario as Canadian Malartic or Detour be envisioned?
So I'll let Laurent maybe expand on that and what we've done in terms of ESG initially, which is paramount when you're beginning any really good exploration project. So I'll pass the mic over to you, Laurent.
Yeah. I mean, it's just for the audience, they have to realize that it's just 9 months since we started to acquire that project. So we've been doing lots of things since these last months, and but we've been able to get in contact with most of the stakeholders of the area, including government, préfet, and as well First Nation. We're also in contact. So we will increase this relationship as long as we continue to explore in the area, for sure. The other thing, in terms of the potential, I agree with the question. I mean, it's early days as well. These QFP were kind of recognized, but not yet maybe looked at their potential and extension. So these are things that we are opening eyes on the field and on our compilation, just to make sure that we have all the chances on our side.
Great. Eric also asks, how many drill targets do you see on the Beltaire currently?
How many targets drilling, you mean?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, we have more than 4,000 meters targets, I would say. We will prioritize. We're still in the process to compile. We will end up with a 3D model that will help us to better understand at depth the continuities of these mineralization zones. So these drill hole will be a little bit more longer than just surface. So we will look at finding the right risk-reward strategy to make sure that we understand what we're doing going forward.
Great, thank you. Alan in the audience says this. Hi, excited in the Beltaire property potential. What are the approximate tailings from the old mine, including wood chip tailings? Have you considered running these tailings? They are extremely high grade and provide cash with little cost. Is it worthy of consideration? Looking forward to the 4,000 meter drilling campaign beginning in November.
I'd say it's a really good question, and that's on purpose that we didn't mention about these things, but that's true. There is value there. We also know that there is some resource remaining around the historic gold showings and at the former mine as well. We don't talk about it because we need to reassess all these data, and we'd like to take care to make sure that we really understand what we have. But there is value there. This is not the prime focus at the moment. What we'd like to do is to show the real potential to find a world-class project here.
Great.
Well, I would just add as well that a lot of prior owners in the area and juniors who came and went, their focus sometimes was on these tailings and bulk mining, to make a couple $1 million here and there. We know that there's potential for that there. We know that there's an existing resource remaining. It's non-compliant, so it hasn't been our focus to try to prove it up. We will at some point. We have a bigger picture approach. We're looking for another Beltaire mine or bigger, and that is our focus, and that's where we think we can create value for our shareholders.
Okay, thank you. Edouard asks, what is the trace element package along with all the high-grade gold recently published at Beltaire? Any polymetallic signature or gold, silver only? The Beltaire mine was apparently known for such polymetallic signatures.
That's a really good technical question, and we've seen various signatures and certainly volcanic potential as well. So not just gold associated with eventually, kind of anomaly fuite, that what we call in the technical jargon. But yes, there's various model that we're looking at the moment, especially with our geochemical survey that we've analyzed, and we just need some proof and more confidence to talk a little bit more about the models that we have. We also have other pretty great models in mind, which could be even more prospective.
Great. Okay. Maybe playing into that, but with such a large portfolio of highly prospective projects, what is the order of priority?
Yeah, I'll take that question. There's no question our top priority is Beltaire, for the simple fact, because there's a really nice and prospective brownfield component to it, we believe we can move rapidly to the next phase. As everybody knows, a discovery, a good discovery can change the needle for any junior out there. So we think our chance is as good as any, moving our Beltaire project first, proving up some good results in the brownfield areas around the old Beltaire mine. Next would be Ligneris. We're going to continue to advance Ligneris and our Skyfall project, and add value there gradually. But as you can appreciate, a junior only has so much money to spend. Access to money will depend to some extent on the markets and what we're able to find at Beltaire. So it's going to be a systematic approach.
Fair enough. Fred in the audience asks, do you see any way to increase liquidity on the U.S. side?
Yeah, we've looked at that. We're probably going to apply in the very near future for a better over-the-counter listing, and that should satisfy any interest and any marketing that we begin to do to U.S. investors.
Okay, great. Lyle in the audience says, the price of gold has been in a significant fluctuating pattern for the last 2 years and seems stuck in gradual decline. Will continue to change if it is dramatic affect your strategy or timing in any way? Example, if it collapsed to $1,300 to $15, or if it soared to $2,200 within the next year. What would those potential situations and how would they affect your plans?
Well, it really shouldn't affect our plans, at least in the near term. We're going to ensure that we're well capitalized going into this fall, our initial drill campaign. We're going to ensure that we have enough capital to continue throughout the winter and well into next year. We run things very conservatively from a treasury standpoint. We will be topping up at the appropriate times. Certainly the gold price has an effect on sentiment and investors' appetite for investing in juniors. I don't think it's going to get much worse than it is right now. We've been in a correction mode in the overall space for over a year now. The junior space these last 6 months have been very challenging for a lot of juniors. I would point to the fact that our particular company and stock has maintained very well. We believe that the market recognizes what we've executed over these past 12 months, what we potentially have at Beltaire. I believe that we are in the camp that probably deserves a positive re-rating on our valuation. So, we're going to work to try to achieve this re-rating valuation over the next couple of months. But we'll roll with the challenges of the gold environment. We still believe that we are in a long-term bull market in precious metals. My own personal view is that we will see 22 to 2400 at some future point. Exactly when, I can't tell you. If we're fortunate enough to see that, I think the backdrop and environment for investing in junior is going to be fabulous. So we'll roll with the punches, but we'll position ourselves for all types of markets here.
And I would like to add as well that I think we're, like Mark said, we really believe on the midterm hypothesis of the gold value in the market. But as well, we know that all the majors and producers are looking for feed, and they will look for safe jurisdiction with good resource. And basically, that's what we're executing. And I think we're positioning ourselves in a really good situation, looking for 3 to 5 years ahead with a majors company looking for feed.
Right. Okay. Eric in the audience asks, to follow up, the Canadian Malartic mine was a novel model applied to an old underground mining camp. Beltaire has not been examined in that regard, and we see further Western Ontario, the Cote Lake project being advanced by IM Gold. Any chance that with these advancements, both geologically and in mining operations, that you may recognize new types of mineralization in Beltaire? I appreciate your professional, big picture outlook.
I think I know who asked that question, and I thank him for that. That's a really good question as well, technically speaking. Yes, we see some indication about some comparables. What we'd like, the approach that we have is we'd like to advance scientifically, better understanding what we have, and demonstrate some really good element to prove what we're saying. So for the moment, we remain quiet, but at one point we will elaborate a little bit more on what we see on the project.
Great. Okay. What's your relationship like with local stakeholders?
Great. And in fact, our operation manager, Christian Blanchet, is state of the art on the relationship with all the stakeholders. He was previously working with Rio Tinto on that specific aspect of development of a mining project. So we're fortunate to have him and being there to execute state-of-the-art data space.
I would just add that the town of Beltaire was built because of the former Belleterre Gold Mine. So all of the people in the area, the local stakeholders, they've seen a lot of companies come and go. We've had initial discussions with all the town representatives. They're very encouraged and positive with the work we're doing. We haven't overpromised. They like that aspect. They know this. It's a high risk business, but they're very encouraged, and they look forward to the work we're doing. And we're employing some local people, and they really appreciate that.
Great. Okay. Well, just being cognizant of the time where we're at, in closing, could you remind us again what we should be watching from Vior for the rest of 2021 and into 2022?
Yeah, sure, Cam. We're going to have a continuous news flow the next many months. What we're doing right now is we're focusing uniquely on drill targeting and building our 3D model in the brownfield areas of Beltaire. We will be beginning our inaugural drill program sometime early November, 4,000 meters. It should last approximately 5 to 6 weeks. We would expect drill results probably sometime mid to late January, depending on how backlogged the laboratories are. Depending on our success there, we would continue throughout the winter and keep drilling and keep advancing the project and building some value for our shareholders. We'll also be planning in concert with Osisko Mining probably a small drill program on our Ligneris project as well. It was one of the requirements for Osisko's investment in us. So there should be a news announcement on that in the next few months. And as I said, Laurent and I are going to be busy on the road through presentations here and in Europe, telling the Vior story. I think it's a great story with a great opportunity for revaluation.
Great. Thank you so much. And with that, again, being cognizant of time, I'd like to thank everyone in attendance, as well as you, Mark and Laurent, for the great presentation and Q&A session. If you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered, or if you think of one after the summit, we'll be sending out a short survey where you can leave your contact information and get into direct contact with the Vior team. You can also, of course, find more information at www.vior.ca. And with that, Mark, I'm going to hand it over to you for some final words before we wrap things up.
Thank you, Cam. And I'd just like to thank everyone who's been attending. And we'd like to welcome anyone who has additional questions or would like to know more information about Vior. You have our contacts, I believe, through 6IX, or go directly to our website where we've provided my direct number, Laurent's direct number, and our email addresses. So once again, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us today.
Great. Well, with that, we'll sign off. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.